This is my review of Transformers Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Basic Decepticon Drag Strip. And this is a nicely colored figure because, as you notice, there is this fantastic dark purple. You've got black. You have basically a orange yellow, kind of the color of cheddar cheese almost. And you have more of a solid yellow here on the weaponry, as well as down here. So looking at the head sculpt, you can see it is actually a very nice head sculpt in terms of the actual sculpt and in terms of the paint, because they actually use, black, red for the eyes, and silver for the actual face, which is a nice detail considering this is a Human Alliance basic figure. Now the head itself actually is on a ball joint. You do have the ball jointed shoulders. The problem I have with this figure in the robot mode is the way that they design the shoulder area, because if you look here for transformation, this actually comes untabbed, and this is not really secure. It tends to flop around, especially if you're articulating the arm. It kind of just falls off, so it's not the greatest. I don't like that at all. But anyways, as I was saying, ball jointed shoulder right there. You got a swivel at the what would be the bicep, single bend at the elbow, and as you can see, the hand itself, while it's nicely painted silver, does not have any articulation. It's cast as one piece of plastic here. There is no waist articulation. The hips themselves are on ball joints. Swivel at the thigh, bend at the knee, and that is all you have for articulation. Now you do have some options as far as how you want to display the figure in robot mode. For example, if you come back here, you can split these out, and basically what you have are, I guess, a little bit of a wing effect, and I kind of like it like that. So the correct way, of course, according to Hasbro, is display it like that, but you could actually articulate out these like this. You got yourself some wings, and you can see there's rotation here as well as down here at that joint. Over here, his little butt spoiler, if you will, because this becomes a spoiler in the vehicle mode. You can, it goes up and down like that, and these actually go like so. So you can kind of display your figure like that if you wanted to, with the spoiler fins kind of rotated inwards. You do have a clip system, so you do have the option of clipping in other clipped weapons from other Human Alliance figures. Like these are the ones you get actually with this figure, and you can see here they have nicely detailed, nicely colored. You have a transition from the yellow to the purple. There's the clip. And like I said before, you can actually use the clips, I should say the clip weapons that come with the other Human Alliance basic figures. So before I move on, I want to show you this steering wheel. This, of course, only becomes used in the vehicle mode. And you do get the figure, I guess you'd call it the human part of the Human Alliance set. And this is Master Disaster. And as you can see, it is cast in a smoky, semi-transparent plastic. And I just noticed this now, but there actually is a Decepticon logo on his back, which you can see right there probably. I didn't notice that before until actually I picked up the figure right now, and I just saw that. So kind of cool. But anyhow, in terms of articulation, the head itself is on a swivel. Shoulders can go around, can go out. Swivel at the wrist, and the legs can go forward, back. You've got rotation at the knee, as well as a bend. Okay, so let's go ahead and transform this guy into vehicle mode. Now I went ahead already and removed these two pieces. These are the weapons that clip onto his arms, and those will be used in the vehicle mode. We'll set those to the side for now, and we'll go ahead and transform the head. Lift up the shoulder and arms. You can see it extends out on this hinge mechanism. And before you go any further, you want to make sure you attach the steering wheel And as for the transformation for the legs, go ahead and rotate the feet back into the cavity there. And you want to bring the legs around like so. And bring up the spoiler. And the side pods here are going to tab together. There's a peg and a hole on either side there. So there is vehicle mode for Decepticon Drag Strip. It's a little bit of a fiddly transformation, but it's very, very basic as you just saw. And you can clip these on. Now, the way that they show them in the directions is like in this orientation. I'll go ahead and clip these together, or clip these onto the clipping points, and show you the Hasbro way to attach these in vehicle mode. And see, this is a very fiddly transformer, so it's while it's a simple transformation, the actual mechanics of it, the way that it transforms, is a bit cumbersome. Now, they're supposed to be like this. That's the official transformation for these little weapons here, and that's fine. I kind of like to reverse them around a little bit, and so they're actually pointing like this. And you can see they're on ball joints, obviously. So you've got this kind of effect here. So you can bring them together like this a little bit to form kind of a point. But, you know, whatever you want to do is fine. So one of the reasons I decided to pick up Decepticon Drag Strip is because of the vehicle mode. And it is a very nice looking race car. I would even say a realistic looking race car. And as a comparison, bring in the Classics Mirage mold, and you can see that the Decepticon Drag Strip figure in vehicle mode is longer than Mirage here in vehicle mode. So give you an idea of the comparison there. So with all of these Human Alliance basic figures, this does have a weapons mode, and I'm tempted to use air quotes here because I don't know what Hasbro was really intending with this weapons mode, because there's no explanation in the directions as to what this is supposed to do or what it's supposed to be. But let's go ahead and take a look at the transformation into weapons mode. Actually, before we do that, I want to show you the graphics here. You can see on the front end of the car here, you can just make out a Decepticon logo. And the logo is on the center of a phoenix design there, which is kind of interesting. And you also have like a phoenix looking symbol on the air intake. So really nice. Colors are good, and it has the shiny purple paint apps here on the bottom. So speaking of those, we're going to go ahead and transform into weapon mode, and you basically split these apart. And they go up like so. Then what you do is you can clip on these, clip on weapons, and as you do so, you'll probably notice that there's kind of a familiar shape to this. Let me see if I can get that on there. There we go. Because you have a wider base here tapering down to a narrow tip almost. Let's go ahead and tab this in to show you the full effect here. And then you're supposed to do something with the spoiler, which is kind of just like folding it back, I guess, like that. And let me go ahead and take care of this front here. But yeah, this is basically weapons mode for you. You can actually, I think technically they're supposed to be out like this so that the points are on the outside of the wheels. But maybe it's just me, but I kind of think it a little bit looks like a sword, especially if you move the points in closer like that. So here's the base of the sword, and here's the tip, so to speak. Kind of like a buster sword, if you will. Now, they do show you in the instructions there is a little peg here that rotates out. And it is compatible with MechTech ports. How you would use this and any MechTech compatible transformer, I don't know. I really don't know why or how you can make something look good with the peg where it is. If it was down here, you could sort of have a excuse me, if the peg was down here, you can sort of have a sword mode. But I found a way that you can kind of actually have a sword mode even though the peg is not really in the right place. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So what I have here is Leader Class Sentinel Prime holding in his hands the weapons mode of Human Alliance Basic Decepticon Drag Strip. Now, it's going to take a lot of imagination to believe this is a sword. I can kind of see it, but I think a lot of people are going to go, that doesn't look... I think a lot of people are going to say, well, that doesn't really look like a sword at all. I kind of think it does. Obviously, you've got the wheels showing, so that's no good, but it doesn't really help your imagination. But, you know, you got a handle, you know, a grip. You got the wider edge of the blade tapering down to a narrow point. But, you know, it's still a car. You know, you can see if you rotate around here, obviously, you get the full-on car. But, you know, that's the only thing I can think of as far as what Hasbro intended for this weapons mode, because like I say, there are no explanation in the instructions as to what this weapon mode is supposed to be used for. Now, if you recall, there is a peg that I showed you that is really useless. It does peg into a MechTech port, and Sentinel Prime does have a MechTech port on the side of his arm here. But you can't really, it's not really usable for a shield. The only way I've found that I can kind of get a shield effect is to basically put his hand through this little gap there like this. And this would be like his shield mode to kind of complement his other shield over here. So, you know, he's got he's got two shields. But, you know, I realize that's also stretching the realm of imagination. So, you know, it's up to you. I kind of see a sword and I kind of see a shield in this weapons mode. But again, I really don't know what Hasbro was intending for this weapons mode. So as I was thinking about what the best weapons mode is for this figure, I kind of came up with an idea. I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but the idea is, what if Hasbro could engineer these Human Alliance basic figures to combine with other Dark of the Moon, Deluxe class or Voyager class Transformer figures. And the idea behind that is, if you recall at the end of Revenge of the Fallen, when Optimus Prime basically combines with Jetfire. Now Jetfire basically is, in the movie at least, in the movie design, was a kind of an exoskeleton, if you will, or exosuit slash jetpack. You know, it gave the capability for Optimus Prime to fly, but also added to his strength. So I'm kind of thinking, well, you know, what if we can make these Human Alliance figures somehow combine with, you know, Deluxe class or larger figures? You know, something like, well, they would basically be engineered somehow, I don't know how, but somehow, to, you know, combine, so you have, you know, something like this that's, you know, combined with the main figure. You know, maybe you can have these lower around the waist or something like that, but, you know, something that combines with the figure and makes it kind of a, you know, I'm not necessarily sure if it would make it a better figure, but it would be kind of a neat gimmick. I don't know how well that would turn out, but it'd be kind of interesting to see. So, just a random thought from Like It's 1985. So overall, I do like this figure, and I have to say I'm a big race car fan, so that was one of the big factors in determining whether I picked up this figure or not. So I like the race car vehicle mode, and I like the colors with the deep purple, the yellow, and kind of the orange yellow, as well as the black. Colors look great. The head sculpt and the detail in the paint on the head sculpt look really well. Transformation, very simple. However, the overall process of transforming is rather fiddly. It's, like I said before, the way that the shoulders connect to the main torso here in robot mode is really crappy. I don't like that at all. It doesn't really stay in place too well. Once you articulate the arms, these black shoulder pieces or connectors tend to come off really easily. Robot mode looks good. I would probably give robot mode, in terms of a score out of 10, I would probably go with an 8 out of 10 for the look of the robot mode, and the same thing for the vehicle mode. Actually, the vehicle mode I'd probably give a 9 out of 10. So I really like the color scheme, like I said before, with the colors. I just wish that the way that they designed the transformation would have been better in terms of how things fit together. Like I said before, with the shoulder pieces and so forth. All right, this has been my review of Transformers: Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Basic Decepticon Drag Strip with Master Disaster. Thanks for watching.